We have a Scorpio new moon coming up, November 19th/20th, depending on your time zone. And the downloads are coming in so quickly for me that it felt like I needed to just sit down and transmit this to you. Um, and this is really a huge central piece of this, as I'm experiencing it, is really about the truth being revealed and about secrets. Because, and I'll talk more about this, but in 5D, which is where we're going, which is the frequency of love, where we're going as a collective, that in that state of consciousness, there are no secrets. So I want to talk about secrets. I want to talk about secrets being revealed. I want to talk about what it means for in 5D to have no secrets and why. And I also want to talk about how, this idea of there being no secrets and the truth being, or rather, this idea of the truth being revealed, it's been kind of said a lot in astrology lately. And it's certainly coming out in the collective. We can see in all sorts of ways. It can be very shocking, very disturbing, etc. Um, for some of us, maybe it's like we've known all along, but it's also coming out in our personal lives. And I want to talk a little bit about how you might be experiencing it also on a personal level. Um, so here we go. Um, so first of all, I just want to say that, we're still under the effect of this trine between the outer planets. And right now it's out of sign because we have planets going, some of the outer planets going retrograde, but we have Neptune, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto still operating in this trine, which um, is a harmonious aspect to sextiles in the trine, which to me really indicates that there's a harmonious, the outer planets, which represent collective consciousness, not just individual consciousness, um, they're working in harmony to uh, increase our evolution. And they're heavy hitters. They're big energies. They all pull a lot of energy with them wherever they go and however they move. So this is on a really massive scale. It's really, from a very zoomed out perspective. So a lot of big energies are pulling us into and working together to pull us into higher level of consciousness, which is going to be completely different. Life is going to feel completely different within a matter of even a year, right? Things are moving really fast to the point where just the way that we feel inside our lives is changing really quickly, just the qualitative feeling. Um, and having, this new moon is happening at the very end of Scorpio, 28 degrees, 28, yeah, 28 degrees. And Scorpio is, represents kind of the basement of the unconscious, right? Or of the consciousness, which is, we can call it the unconscious, we can call it the shadow. It represents secrets, it represents taboos. Um, hmm. And of course, what Scorpio represents is also somewhat dependent on what a culture is like and how a society builds itself. So we have a society where there are many, I am talking about mainstream society. There are many things that are taboo. There are many things that are secret, right? There are many things that we're taught not to talk about. We're taught not to be open about. And that breeds a culture of secrecy, and it breeds a culture of, as we know, um, that everything that kind of is in the basement, it tends to, it can fester, it can rot, it can turn sick. There's actually a saying in the 12 step programs of spiritual development. That saying is secrets make us sick. And from that perspective, when a human being is healing and getting healthy, one of the core tenets is that they have to commit to actually being honest about every part of their lives with someone. It doesn't have to be with everyone, but with someone. And this principle is really true, not just individually, but also collectively. That in healthy societies, we actually we don't need secrets, and that's this this download I wanted to share about in 5D, there are no secrets. Actually, someone else, shared it, and I heard it there, and then in my own explorations, had my own insights elaborated on. But um, whenever there's a secret, it creates a blockage in the energy field, right? The energy can't flow freely and smoothly anymore. It creates like a pocket. Um, and so when we're to have a healthy community, we need to have the energy flowing in a really healthy way. And the other thing that comes with secrets is shame, right? And shame, according to some energy calibration, frequency calibration systems, is the lowest possible frequency, the lowest emotional frequency that we can live with. So whenever we're carrying secrets, we're carrying shame, we're carrying the lowest vibration possible. And the thing is that if we're living a life of integrity, we don't need secrets. We don't need them. Uh, we all in the healthy community, we know that we're human. We expect that every single one of us is going to have experiences that, we may in our current consciousness or in the past consciousness have called them mistakes. Mistakes don't exist, but there are definitely situations that will happen, actions, choices that we'll take and make that, in the future, when, down the road, we would have made a different choice, perhaps, um, looking back. But those are opportunities for learning, or we can even say remembering the truth of who we are. So they're absolutely necessary. They're essential to life. And in a healthy community, we know that everyone in the community is going to have such experiences, and those are held in complete unconditional love. Um, and they actually enhance the experience of love. Um, so, right now with what's happening, this has been, kind of a larger period of secrets becoming unveiled, also because of the period of Pluto and Capricorn before that was. Pluto also has this signification of unveiling secrets or of secrets. And in Capricorn, it was, showing us some of the really shadier sides of structures, massive structures in society. Um, and now, as Pluto's in Aquarius now, and we have the next 19 years or so of Pluto in Aquarius, what's really happening is power is moving back to the people. So the hierarchies that we've had are crumbling, they're losing power, and it's all becoming more level. So in this process, you know, a lot of secrets are becoming unveiled to the end, uh, or towards the end of, in order for us to all basically, power and hierarchies are built on power. And in order for these hierarchies to maintain, uh, many things have to be kept secret, right? Because if we're all open with each other, like, hey, I'm just another human being like you are. I, have the same human foibles and uh, vulnerabilities. Then it actually kind of makes hierarchies really, they don't hold water anymore, right? Not in the same way. We can still honor someone for their wisdom or honor someone for their skill and their expertise, but we don't have a sense that they're fundamentally in some way above us or we are above them, right? Um, so this great leveling is happening. And in order for that to happen, we have to break all these illusions. We have to have the secrets be revealed. And, we've talked about, or we all kind of have seen rather, like on a collective level, how all these things are coming out, like all of the really shady stuff, not in integrity stuff that has been going on at really high levels of power, but also in our own private lives, or rather our own personal lives. I want to just talk about how it might be feeling, this whole thing of secrets being revealed. And you might notice that actually in your own life, things are kind of coming into uh, like closer to truth, right? Like in the past, you know, mainstream culture is very superficial, very materialistic, um, and you know, there's really a culture of covering things up, right? Like plastic surgery and fillers in the face to cover up how we really look, for one really um, physical example, right? To cover up, you know, our true wrinkles or whatever, however we're presenting. Um, but you know, on the personality level, there's been really acceptance around being kind of people pleasing or actually manipulative through, you know, niceness, and that's been accepted as just, you know, a normal way to be. But you might notice that there's a kind of straightforwardness that's starting to shine through and become more the norm. Um, I hope that you're experiencing some of that in your life, that there's more authenticity. And you might be noticing that, you know, human beings that in the past, you know, you thought they were fine or whatever, like you know, you didn't think much, but maybe you had a feeling that there was something underneath there that you couldn't trust. Well, maybe now it's coming to light that that person had a secret, or that, you know, they were operating out of integrity in a certain way. Also, a lot of initiations are happening, really big initiations for human beings on individual levels, having to do with health, having to do with career or finance or whatever, you know, the dear ones closest to them. Um, Losses, etc. But big initiations that really, they're like purges. They purge us of basically the costumes that we were wearing, right? If we were walking around like with a mask, right, being one way in the collective, but then acting another way in our own private lives, that's not going to hold up anymore. And you might be seeing that, you might be experiencing that. And at the end of the day, we're all, in my senses, we're all going to be left with the truth, you know, sitting there with the truth. And the truth just is like, it's not good, it's not bad. Um, and it takes courage and a kind of fortitude of spirit, of soul to sit there and look at the truth squarely. And my sense is that's what's coming for all of us, that's what's coming for us as a collective. And then, you know, from there, this is very good news actually, because from there we can actually clean up, um, and start to, you know, basically make amends where amends need to be made, repair relationships, and, you know, clean this all up based on truth, based on seeing what's true, so that we can then move on from a place of being really in harmony with each other. um, and yeah, there might be processes of reparation that have to happen in that, and some of them might be painful. It can be really painful to face the truth sometimes, and we might learn things that make us really uncomfortable. Um, Another few things, just astrologically, you know, there are a lot of aspects, of course, that I can get into, but I want to focus on just a couple of them, main ones. One is this new moon is directly in opposition to Uranus. Uranus is planet of truth. It's a planet of enlightenment, and awareness, but it happens very suddenly because, you know, we need that shake sometimes, right? Like we need to be shaken out of something that we've kind of like a fugue or a kind of a, you know, dream state that we've sort of gotten used to, this comfort zone. But if it's not serving and it's not based on truth, Uranus will at some point come in and basically explode it with its own dynamite of love. And it can be very shocking, very uncomfortable. So there might be, you know, definitely some either, you know, actual in the, you know, um, in literal 3D reality, there might be seismic activity, but, you know, also there might be situations that happen in your life, and on the collective that are unexpected, shocking, but ultimately we always have to remember with Uranus that it's always coming out of love, and particularly now because it's in Taurus, it's retrograded back to Taurus, and Taurus is the sign of unconditional love. So basically, this new moon to me is really, as I'm seeing it, is really going to show us um, everything that's not aligned with love, with true love, which is unconditional by its nature, will be, shaken in some way. Um, and and Uranus can be quite ruthless. Um, and then, we have Mars also in Sagittarius at that time. And Mars is, of course, the warrior. And Sagittarius is a sign that's, its North Star is truth. It's the archer, but Stephen Forrest says, it's actually the arrow that the archer is holding. Sag is actually the arrow itself. And that arrow is going towards truth, right in the bullseye. And so it's all about, having that also, that warriorship for truth. And we have Mercury um, conjunct this new moon. And so there's an element of communication here. We might be tasked ourselves with speaking up about a truth or an injustice that we're seeing that's being revealed to us. We might be guided. I'm not saying don't do this if I'm not saying to do this if you're not guided to, but if you feel an internal guidance, you might feel an internal guidance to actually speak up, to blow a whistle on something, to call something out, um, and yeah, and to have, say the emperor has no clothes, because this is really a big time of the emperor has no clothes, and having all those fake clothes that never existed in the first place, but was a collective kind of illusion we all were on board with, had to have it, having those having that illusion be completely shattered. Very, very good news. So if you are called to say something, to use your voice, I commend you. I commend your courage, and it's very important that we all do participate in the ways that we're called, because we are all in this together, bringing in um, the new consciousness. Thank you, and yeah, blessings to you.